Okay, you've had a little time to look at this problem. Let's get busy with it. Alright, we're going to end up with here, f prime of x equals 2 minus 2/3 times 3x to the negative 1/3 times 1, because of my chain rule. 3 cancels out here, so we're really left with 2 minus 2 over the cube root of x. That is your f prime of x. Well, this one's a little bit different. We're going to set it again equal to 0. We're going to set it equal to dne. This one, we have 2 on top. We have 2 on bottom. So this one, we will end up with a critical point. Let's think about this one for a moment. What value here will cause this to be 0? 2 minus 2. And to get this to be 2, x must be 1. So x equals 1 is a critical point. And this one here, if I have 0 on bottom, this function will become undefined. So x equals 0 makes it dne, so that's also a critical point. So my critical points are 1 and 0, which both lie within the bounds. So then we can set it up. Again, endpoint, critical point, and endpoint. And yes, the last two problems have had only 2 critical points. Sometimes you'll have 1 critical point. Sometimes you can have 7 critical points. There's no pattern, so don't think about that. Now, our endpoint is negative 1, critical point 0, critical point 1, and endpoint 3. And then again, we plug these into the original function. We end up with f of negative 1 comes out to be negative 5. 0 comes out to be 0. 1 comes out to be negative 1. When you plug 3 into here, hopefully you got something around negative 0.24. So, what again we have to look for here is over this bound, what's the biggest value? This is my biggest value, so that's my maximum. This is my smallest value. That's my minimum. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Excellent. Okay. Let's set up one more problem. Don't get nervous just because it's a trig function. For this one here, 2 sine x minus cosine 2x on the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Before we start this problem, I want you to verify that your calculator, press mode, and verify that your calculator is in radian mode. This will be a much easier problem. We can tell we're in radian mode because it's 2 pi there. So make sure your calculator is in radian mode. And again, the problem is 2 sine x minus cosine 2x. And find the derivative. And then I'll show you guys some tricks on how to graph it. First things first, let's figure out the derivative of this one. I would call on you, but I have no idea who's there. So instead, I guess I'll figure this one out. It's f prime of x. Alright, the derivative of sine is cosine, and so this becomes 2 cosine x. The derivative of cosine is negative sine, so it'll be negative sine. That'll become plus sine 2x. Here we have to do the chain rule times 2. So this one cleaned up becomes 2 cosine x plus 2 sine 2x. And that equals 0. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick up your calculator and go y1 equals 2 cosine x, don't forget to close your parentheses, plus 2 sine 2x. And then under y2, I want you to graph 0. The rationale for this, I believe it's easier to calculate an intersection than it is to calculate the 0. When you do this, what I want you to do is, again, graph y1, fix your window X min is 0. X max is 2 pi. Y min is -3. Y max is 3. Callie, you impressed? I did that first try. Okay. Now, with that said and done, you're going to end up with decimal answers. You should come up with 4 critical points. And you're going to have to do, again, second trace, which is second calculate, and then you'll do 5 intersection. You'll press enter for the first curve, you'll press enter for the second curve, then you use the left and right arrows to move to your intersection points. When you're all done, you should come up with, again, 4 critical points. We have an endpoint of 0, we have an endpoint of 2 pi, then we come up with critical points. Now yours are going to be decimals, but one critical point comes out to be pi over 2, which is 1.57. Another critical point is 7 pi over 6, which is 3.665. Another critical point is 3 pi over 2, which is 4.712. And another critical point is 11 pi over 6, which comes out to be 5.76. Then what you can do here is, if you want to, you could actually regraph this function. Here's what I would recommend you do. Now that you have your critical points, now that you have these, go back to y equals, delete it, and clear out y2, and put in y1 your original function, 2 sine x minus the cosine 2x. Press trace, and then type in 0. You come up with an answer here of -1. Next, type in pi over 2. Come up with 3. Again, press trace. You don't have to keep pressing it. Press trace, and here we'll come up with -3 halves, -1.5. 3 pi over 2, you get an answer of -1. 11 pi over 6, -3 halves, which is the same as -1.5. And 2 pi becomes -1. And now we're ready to see maximums and minimums. Looks like 3 is our maximum. Looks like -1.5 is my minimum. And don't forget, one of the things we talked about here was it was possible to have multiple maximum or multiple minimum values. In this case here, we came up with 2 different minimum values and 1 maximum value. Ugly color. Let's fix that. 1, that's nicer. 1 maximum value. So, that's enough for right now. Call it a day. Good luck, guys.